After the last light in the bookshop lowers and settles, the city slips further into the deep part of night. The window no longer holds the trace of rain. The daytime noise is gone. It feels as if the world has been covered gently, one quiet layer at a time, until almost everything becomes soft and dim. The walk to the library is short and simple. The street is familiar. The streetlights are darker than they are in the daytime, and the road seems to absorb the sound of footsteps instead of sending it back. Your pace slows naturally. You do not need to decide how fast to move. Your body finds a steady rhythm on its own. The night air is neither cold nor warm. It does not press against you. It feels neutral, as though it has no temperature at all. It surrounds you without asking for attention. From a distance, the library appears quietly. Not many windows are lit. Most of the building looks as if it is already asleep. A few lights remain, like small signs left behind for late work. A shelf being checked, a desk being cleared, a space being kept in order. When you push open the front door and step inside, the outside world is cut away. The door closes with a sound that is not loud, but clear enough to mark a boundary. Outside stays outside. Inside becomes its own space. The air in the library is heavier than it is during the day and more stable. It carries the presence of paper and wood and dust that has settled for a long time. It does not swirl or change. It simply rests in place, filling the building slowly and evenly. Your footsteps leave almost no sound. This hour of the library does not ask for movement. It feels like a place built on the assumption of stillness. The corridor is long and straight. The shelves stand on both sides in quiet rows, evenly spaced, unhurried, as if they have been waiting without expectation. The fluorescent lights are kept at the lowest necessary brightness. There is no glare. The shadows are not sharp. The outlines of objects soften, and nothing looks urgent. Even without focusing, everything enters your view naturally. In this place, you do not need to see anything clearly. You step into the reading room where desks are lined up. Most seats are empty. Chairs are neatly pushed in as if the room has already been prepared for quiet. There are almost no traces of anyone having been here recently. What remains is the stillness the space has always carried. You pull out one chair slowly and sit down. The chair supports you with a simple steadiness: wood, fabric, a shape meant to hold weight without complaint. When you lean back, it feels as though the weight you carried through the day begins to sink downward little by little. You do not need to try to relax. Here, tension loosens on its own. You place nothing on the desk. You do not open a book, and you do not write anything down. At this hour, the library feels less like a place to do something and more like a place to stay. The books remain on the shelves, and even without touching them, the room already feels like one long, quiet book that never needs to be finished. Somewhere far away, you may hear the faint sound of a clock. It is regular but not strong. It does not demand that you notice it. It simply confirms that time still exists, quietly and steadily, without pressure. Thoughts do not continue for long here. If a thought appears, it fades before it reaches the end. There is no reason to hold it. There is no need to push it away. Thoughts are light in this room. They arrive, soften, and disappear. You stand and walk slowly between the shelves once. The titles on the spines pass through your eyes. Letters and numbers exist as shapes, not as meaning. You do not need to understand. You do not need to remember. Not knowing is allowed here. When you return to your seat and sit again, the chair supports you in the same way as before. Nothing has changed. In this space, change is not important. The repetition itself is part of what makes the room feel safe. As time passes, the library becomes even quieter. At first, you might sense the building's small sounds, a faint but now those details melt into the background. What remains is not only silence, but a steady state being maintained. The room feels held in place. It is fine to close your eyes. It is also fine to keep them open. Either way, the library remains the same. A space that does not demand a choice makes the mind loosen more easily. Your body's weight continues to flow downward into the chair and the floor. Your feet rest on the ground. Your hands settle naturally without holding tension. You do not need to correct your posture. The room does not ask you to be proper or alert. It only allows you to be still. Time stretches here. It does not hurry forward. It does not aim toward an ending. It simply continues. In this long, quiet continuation, sleep may come, and it may also arrive slowly. Either way is acceptable. Nothing needs to be forced. The library stays around you without changing shelves, desks, soft light, calm air. Nothing shifts. Nothing needs to shift. The stability of the place makes the edges of awareness softer. If this state continues, your senses begin to loosen. Sound feels farther away. Thoughts become blurred and less frequent. The process is gentle, neither fast nor slow. It unfolds without announcement. Nothing happens in this night library. You are simply here. And in the simple act of staying, rest deepens naturally. The quiet inside the library grows deeper over time. The stillness you noticed at the beginning was only the surface. Now it feels layered, as though calm has been stacked beneath calm, creating a thick, soft silence. It does not feel like there is no sound at all. It feels like sound is no longer needed. You slowly turn your head and look around again. The shelves remain the same height. The books remain in their places. The colors of the spines are not bright, mostly softened by time. Faded tones, worn edges, paper pressed flat by years of use. These details enter your view, but they do not hold your attention. They are simply present, and that is enough. The light remains at the same steady level. Not bright, not dark, a middle state that becomes easy to forget. Once your eyes adjust, shadows remain gentle. Nothing looks sharp. Nothing looks like it needs to be handled immediately. The sensation of being supported becomes clearer. You're back against the chair, your shoulders settling, your legs resting without effort. The feeling is not heavy. It is stable. It quietly reminds you that you do not need to hold yourself up. This hour of the library does not ask for productivity. There is no requirement to read. There is no need to collect information. The space is not waiting for you to use it correctly. It simply exists, and it allows you to exist within it. A faint mechanical sound may be present somewhere air, moving slowly through a system. It is steady and low. If you do not focus on it, it disappears. It only serves to confirm that the building continues to breathe. In a quiet, practical way, even that sound becomes part of the background. As the minutes pass, the gaps between thoughts become larger. A thought rises, then fades before it becomes a full sentence. Then there is space. The space does not feel empty in a troubling way. It feels comfortable, like a quiet room inside your mind that has finally been left alone. You walk one more time down the aisle between shelves. Your steps are low and careful, not because you must be silent, but because your body naturally matches the room. The floor receives each step and then forgets it. There is no echo. The space does not store sound. It absorbs everything and returns to calm. When you sit again, the repetition does not feel boring. It feels predictable. And predictability becomes trust. The room remains unchanged, and because of that, your awareness does not need to stay sharp. Even with your eyes closed, the structure of the room remains in your mind: the shelves, the desks, the direction of the light. Closing your eyes does not erase the space. It only reduces what needs to be processed. Time continues to pass, but it no longer feels like a straight line. It feels as if it expands gently around the same center. It passes without leaving a strong mark. The tension in your body is almost gone. Shoulders lower. The jaw loosens. Facial muscles stop holding their shape. There is no need to maintain an expression. There is no one to respond to. The library remains exactly as it was. The space does not change. Only your relationship to it changes. You sink a little deeper into its quiet rhythm, and the rhythm becomes your own. Nothing happening begins to feel like completion rather than absence. There is nothing to add, nothing to remove. The state itself is enough. As the quiet continues, awareness lowers gradually. Thoughts become rare. Sensations soften. The sense of time becomes vague. The process remains smooth and uninterrupted. In this deep night library, you stay where you are. And within that staying, rest continues, steady and slow, as sleep approaches without any need to hurry. The quiet remains steady, unchanged by the passing moments. Nothing shifts suddenly, and nothing asks for attention. The light stays where it is, soft and even, resting, gently on shelves and tables without emphasis. Your breathing continues on its own, slow and unremarkable, needing no adjustment. The library feels complete in this stillness. There is nowhere else to go, nothing else to notice. Staying becomes effortless. Awareness grows lighter, as if it is no longer being held in place. And within this calm continuation, rest deepens, naturally, allowing sleep to come closer at its own unhurried pace.